Hi everyone, this is Danai, and today I will be talking about a passage from George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. If you know the piece, I'm talking about the end passage where the piano starts playing the repetitions, and it's probably the technically most demanding passage of that piece. And I'm actually right now just learning the piece. I will be playing it in the summer for the first time in my life. And I just started looking at it a couple of days ago. And I started working on this passage and I thought this would actually be great to make a video on it. So this is a very realistic video of me showing you my very early stages of this piece, how I practice it and how I practice this passage, which exercises I use. So keep in mind, this is not the perfect performance of it just yet. But if you're interested in seeing how I practice this repetition passage in the beginning and the initial thoughts that I've had about it and how to make it work in the best way possible for me, then keep on watching. Before I get into a video, I just wanted to say thank you for bearing with me. I didn't post a video last week because I was so busy with the release of the first single of my new album. It's actually an album together with my sister with Works for Piano Duo, and the full album will be released later in the summer at the end of August. But now we're already pre-releasing first singles. So the first single is out. It's the Rêverie by Claude Debussy, and there will be more singles coming in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, then definitely go check it out. It's available on all streaming platforms. And then in August, you'll of course also be able to buy the physical copy of the CD. So back to the passage. First of all, of course, I will play through the passage slowly, as with any technically demanding passage. Now, what is strange or hard about this passage for me is the rhythmical irregularity. Although you have ongoing 16th notes, the accents are a bit weird, and also the way you mentally structure it is very important. For me, if I have a roadmap of how I mentally think about a passage like that, that is really already halfway to the goal. For me, it's very important to mentally structure it and then have that to go along with. So what I do is when I practice this passage in sections, which you will see in a minute, I try to think of it as a very regular 2/4 beat. It's a 2/4 beat, and I try to really think of it as 4/16 plus 4/16. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, even though it goes against what is actually melodically written. So I go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. This is where I place the accent when I play the exercises. Now, when I play through it, it's completely different, but I always find that it is helpful to train my brain in a tricky passage like this one and to actually practice different mental accents. So I start out by practicing the regular heavy beats, even though that's not what I will be playing when I play through it, because it's a great training for me to have all the fingers be equal and equally strong, equally important, and to not get lost in this irregularity of the passage. So I will start out by practicing one of my main exercises, which is 4 slow notes and 4 fast notes. And I do that throughout the entire passage. And obviously, especially when doing this exercise, I, of course, think of it in the regular beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I have the 4 slow and the 4 fast ones. Once I do that, I turn it around and I start with 4 fast notes followed by 4 slow notes, and I do that for the entire passage as well. A little comment about the fingering. In my left hand, I like to just use my 3rd finger for these accent notes. Just when I'm down here in the octave, I play 5, 3, 1. But then for the higher ones, I do 3, 3, as much as I can, the 3rd finger. And then when I have the accents going up, then maybe sometimes I'll do 2, 3. But I actually like using the same finger very often. So as much as I can, I will just use the 3rd finger in order to have this impulse. But of course, do whatever feels comfortable to you. If you like changing the fingers or using 2, 3, that's perfectly fine as well. This is just a technique that has worked for me for a very long time, and I like to use the same finger when I have passages like that in the left hand. So the next thing that I do, still with that structure of the regular 2/4 rhythm, so 4 plus 4, is I play it in very small sections. So I'll start with 1/4 note, so basically 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then stop on the first note of the following quarter. So basically 5 notes, then stop, then start on the note that I finished before, and then again 5 notes. And again, I try to force myself to not think, so no accents on the chords like it will probably later be, but I try to force myself to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I do the same thing just for the full bar. So now we already have 8 notes in one bar, and I play through them and stop on the first note of the following bar. And I do that for the entire passage as well. And now we are getting into the change of the mental structure. So now when I will practice 2 bars, which is the next section, now I will start thinking of it like I will when I play through it, which is basically giving impulses, little accents on the chords of the right hand. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So within the 8 notes that we have in that bar, I'm thinking not 4 plus 4, but 3 plus 3 plus 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that rhythm goes through the entire passage, even when the accents come in. So once we get into this part, I try to not focus on the accents, but actually on the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I'll also try to practice it without heavily accentuating my left hand, just so that I keep that rhythm. The reason why I do it is because I find when I play through it, it's good to have one underlying rhythm that goes through and that never changes, because I feel like it's a bit risky to mentally switch and then mentally switch again. So I like to keep that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then just put the accents in between, but not be confused by them. And same goes for the part when the left hand starts crossing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, the accents go against this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, but I try to feel them as something going against the underlying bass rhythm or the underlying bass mental structure. And so now I practice 2 bar sections while having that in mind. And now the remaining thing is, of course, to play through the entire passage. And before I do that, I just want to mention one more mental strategy that I have, especially concerning this passage. I realized, and again, I haven't been playing it for a long time, I just learned it a couple of days ago. So this is me very freshly sharing what I've realized about this passage, is that I have to release my right hand on every chord. So every time there's a chord, I really try to do a little movement to the front, elevating my wrist and just having this little release, because I find that that first of all gives me some security in this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, but also it ensures that I don't feel tension. Because I must say that when I first played through it in a faster tempo, I felt some tension and I thought, oh, that's strange. I mean, it's not such a long passage. Why am I feeling this tension? Of course, you are in this uncomfortable position like this, and the right hand is kind of going over like that in quite an extreme way. So it is a bit uncomfortable. So in order to prevent any tension from happening, I really make sure to consciously release and relax with every impulse on every chord that the right hand plays. And one more little tip that I realized is that after I have these bars, and then the left hand goes over to crossing, it's a bit of a mental change. So when I have the accents going up like that, I think of it as quite a strong forte character. And then once I get into this crossing area of things, I think of it as a bit lighter. And that helps me. I kind of go down in the dynamic a bit, maybe start at a lower dynamic and do a bit of a crescendo. And it helps me to stay in control also, because going from many accents to less accents, of course, has the risk also of rushing and it's spiraling out of control. So this helps me kind of keep it under control. And then, of course, I play through the entire passage, keeping all that in mind. So once again, please keep in mind, this is not the finished result. This is not the perfect stage performance. This is still me practicing it at the very beginning stages, but I thought that it would be interesting to share it also because it is quite a famous passage, and I think that many people have heard it and probably also some of you have played it. So I really hope that you found this video interesting. If you enjoyed it, please leave it a like and subscribe to my channel. That would help me a lot. And I will see you again in my next video next week. Bye!